Hello, this is Art Johnson, and welcome to program number 6 of Books for a New World. This is a Hangouts on Air series, a book review series that I'm doing of books that have really made a difference in my life or continue to make a difference in my life. And I'm reviewing a little book by Ernest Holmes called The Basic Ideas of Science of Mind that I have in my New World Virtual Bookstore, which is an Amazon-powered bookstore. I'm not doing this so much to sell books. I make very little bit of money doing that. But I really noticed that a lot of people seem to be blocked. I know in some ways there are a lot of limiting thoughts that you might not be aware of that you might have that get in the way of you doing things. I did a video in the past about how to get rid of mind virus. And maybe it's just an effect of so much stuff coming down the internet that people kind of get numb and they can't get initiatives going here. And this book was a really fresh book that right at a point in my life that I read, and it started to really open up a whole new direction for me about, I've always had on my mind that consciousness is really the key to everything, being aware and understanding the extent of which consciousness plays throughout the world. And the world is nothing but consciousness, energy, congealed and taking different forms. And how do you use that energy to succeed? So this chapter is really, really good. The chapter kind of book lays out a very nice structured approach. It talks about you and your mind and the structure of consciousness, and then how you can use your understanding to have healthy thinking and better bodily and mental health, and extend that health to the health of your business even. And then he gets into using this knowledge to essentially determine your own welfare and to rebuild your life. And it's just amazing. I mean, there's so many great thoughts, and it's very concisely written that you can read and practically apply it. And he scans and speaks to different audiences, the basic common man as well as the intellectual, and it's practical metaphysics that's really, really neat. So anyway, this chapter is a really good one. This one is about it's called directing. I think it's called directing your emotions. Directing the power of your directed emotions. Sorry, my words got twisted here. But what he makes an analogy here says, he finally gets to this place where humanity has got to this place where we're become self-conscious, and we realize that we can make choices that are making a difference, huge differences in the planet even, and that. With that comes a real responsibility. If you understand that what you think and feel very quickly can get translated into your reality, the conditions of your life. And so you have this kind of responsibility of doing this the right way. And he makes a really nice analogy in this chapter of gardening. And he says, if you've ever planted a garden, there are certain things that you do. You prepare the soil, you choose the right seeds, and if you care for your garden the right way, whatever you plant is going to come up. You're going to get carrots, beets, and that's something that you can always depend upon because it has to do with the laws of nature. Mother Nature takes over. And he says the same thing, really makes the same analogy in terms of what he calls spiritual planting or spiritual gardening, which when he really looks at the soil, he makes an analogy as a soil based on this whole structure of consciousness as your subconscious or your subjective consciousness, that whatever you send the soil, whatever seeds you plant in that soil will essentially come to bear. So, and the seeds that are planted have to do with the seeds of your thought, and And before you start to plant these seeds, you have to actually have a framework, a state of mind that makes sure that the soil is prepared right. You make some really nice analogies. So, if you have stones, if you have weeds in your garden, then you're going to get really frustrated. And if you've got limiting thoughts or negative thoughts that are part of your subconscious mind, you got to be real careful, because if you don't weed those out, then you're not going to get. You're going to, those weeds will grow just as fast as what you want to try to go, and then sometimes they can choke them out. And so it's a really a wonderful analogy that he makes, and he talks about almost this kind of a loving kind of a feeling, that one of the ways that you weed yourself of this, get the weeds out, is to start in a peaceful, calm way, setting the thought, setting the seeds of things that you want that will do good for not only you but for the world, and making sure that those really are good things to plant, but doing that very calmly, and nurturing those thoughts on a daily basis as you would be watering a garden, and just making sure that no negative or doubts or anxieties are going to come in. And so he makes that really great analogy, and then he then talks about for those people who are having a tough time even thinking or even getting calm about that, he talks about people that may have certain complexes, that they're like the weeds, like maybe an inferiority complex, where you feel like, well, I'm just not good enough, or somebody else is better than me, and I'll never be able to do that, and I've never been able to succeed at anything, and all that kind of stuff. And he really says that you have to understand that you are a child of God. God made you in the image and likeness, with the same kind of qualities, the same beauty inherent, that you just need to discover and dig more deeply, and think affirmative towards that, and that will help clean those other weeds out. There's other things like superiority complex, which is just as bad. And he then goes into, finally at the end of the chapter, about being false guilt, and that a lot of times, because of the way we're raised, we've inherited certain things that, because we want to be loved by our parents, that we have embraced, that are not us. So he goes through this whole idea and saying that, well, in consciousness, and your conscience grows and develops over time, where you go through these stages where, yes, you need this basic love to, as a baby, to be loved, and then you want to be obedient to your parents, so you want the love of your parents. But then you go through, later on, as you become a teenager, you start to sort out what your true feelings are and what they've taught you, and then finally, in the maturation of your life, you create a synthesis that's informed by more mature choice kind of a thing, based on your own choices. Pretty neat idea if people can get to that. And so unfortunately, some people can't get to that. But he wants to give you encouragement to send you the basic ideas to affirm yourself and to forgive yourself, and to apply your mind in a very peaceful way, so that you essentially can control and direct your own emotions. Because once you learn how to control and direct your emotions, then you really are controlling and directing your life. Great chapter. And I just really am enjoying this book. We only have a few more chapters left, but I hope that you're enjoying it. Also, make some comments if some of these thoughts resonate with you, or you have questions that you'd like to make, or whatever. Please let me know, because this whole idea is, this book is a great tool to help you get unblocked, to really see. There's so many great things that can be done with technology, particularly over Google+. I mean, they're just amazing. There's amazing just by looking at ourselves differently. in the world. We can travel by logging on and meeting face to face over the planet, but we have to have a broader sense of who we are and what we're capable of doing, and kind of revisit old habits to create new ones that might be more positive and more good for the planet. So anyway, don't let me get off on that. I just wanted to say this is a great book. Check it out. Basic Ideas of Science Mind. This is written in This one is based in 1957, based on his major treatise written in 1926. Wonderful piece of work. Thank you so much.